Hello, beautiful people. My name is Katrina, and I just want to thank everybody for all of the comments and the compliments that you shared about my little ornate brass detailed closures on my Aurora corset. And I promised that I would share in a video on how and what I did to do that. A little bit of a disclosure, full disclosure, that when I tell you a couple things, it'll probably stop you from wanting to even do this, but I promise at the end, I actually have a super simple alternative that should look almost the same as what I did. And I'll show you that later. But essentially what you're gonna need, I will put all of the links to the stuff in Amazon that I purchased, but there are some sweater clasps, shrug clasps that come in a 4-pack with some other ones for like, I think $13. And also these conchos, you'll get 6 of them for I think $16, almost on Amazon, that just screw on, and I'll show you that later. You'll need some little elastic. I believe this is about a 1/2 inch or just under a 1/2 inch elastic. And tools wise, needle nose pliers are almost always necessary, especially this teeny little needle nosed one. I have what I call my pokey tool, just got it at the hardware store. I use it for everything. A little flamethrower to burn the ends, a screwdriver for the most part, oh, and a scissors. For the most part, that's all that you're gonna need. So I'm gonna turn the phone around and kind of show you what I did. I did forget to give you the full disclosures. Number 1, they are not easy to take on and off. Once they're in this way I did it, they're in. So the good news is it's elastic, and even me with a super bad shoulder, and I just had surgery on it, am still able to put this like over my head and crawl into it. And it still stays tight and stretchy enough. But for some people that might be a kill-all for wanting to take this on. But like I said, I have an easier way that'll be coming up that I can show you, that you can actually attach it after you put it on. Second disclosure / tidbit. For the way that I wore the brass clasps, I removed the clasp. So you'll see that coming up. But do not remove them if you think you want to trial the easy way to put them on and to wear them or put them on after you put the corset on. So I just wanted to give you a quick look of what this looks like from the back side and what we're working towards. And these are just the screws on the back side of those conchos and some elastic, and then the parts of the sweater clasps that I took apart to use. So one of the first things you're going to do with these clasps, and they're all essentially the same, is you have to take the clasp off, because we don't actually use it on this method, but on the second it will come in handy. I pretty much destroyed a handful of these before I figured out an easy way to do it. So if you open these up, you're going to see that this top piece is, is just sitting inside here. So if you just take your little mini needle nose and bend this, sorry about that, and bend this out like that, this top part will come right out like this, and this will come off, and this will come off, and then you're left with this, and this is what we're going to fasten our elastic to. So that's how you take that apart. Okay, so essentially now the next thing we want to do is you got to cut a piece of elastic about 4 inches. And then we need to get a screw through. When I first did this, I was trying to do this and put a screw through elastic, 2 layers of elastic, and it wasn't working till I was on my last one and figured that I could just pull the elastic through and work from the front, which was way easier than trying to do it the other way. So essentially, this elastic, And this concho is going to go through there with a screw coming from the back. The toughest thing is trying to put a screw through elastic because the hole always wants to go closed. So I just peel this open. I use my little pokey tool to make a mark approximately where I want it. And I get it kind of close to the eyelet because it's going to get pulled up against that anyways. And then just do a hole. Doesn't really matter where because we're going to pull the top one tight. Now, I'm doing this from the front now so that, oops, so you can kind of see this. I just put a hole in it so that's easier to put the screw through it. So I just take my little teeny little needle nose pliers and I actually use this hole to shove this through. Now, when you do this, grab your screw. I'm going to use a lot of potty words. I used a lot of potty words. I'll drop this 15 times, but this was the best way I found to do it. Hold the screw with your needle nose and then pull the end of the screw, oh, I keep bumping that, through. And this again, keep it straight if you can, and pull that through. Oh, it's not straight. Again, this is the most challenging part. Right there. Okay. Now, you can see that the screw is through there. All right, first one's fairly easy, but again, we got to get another one through there. So I'm going to pull this through like this. And then what I'm going to do, and I kind of already did it since I poked it already, is poke another hole. Sorry, I keep bumping that. And the same thing. You're going to put your needle nose through it just enough that you can open it up and grab that screw again straight out in front of it. Grab it as easy as well as you can, and you're going to use this to shove that screw through that hole. If I would have figured that out hours after failures, this would have made this a hell of a lot easier. Now the other thing I figured out is you don't even need to shove it back before you put this on. And if anyone noticed, I forgot to thread this on there. So we're going to thread this on there. It's a flat little spot there for that. Okay, now let's see if I can actually get it back through here since I already put a hole. Well, I did. Sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does. If you stretch it on there, it will work. So literally then you have the screw through 2 pieces of elastic looped around the front side of this. Then literally just screw your concho on like that. Now here's the, it took me forever to figure this out. Once you've done that, you can actually pull the elastic through the other side. Just going to grab my needle nose, pull this elastic through, and the screw itself, just like that, pops out, just like that. This elastic is enough bulk, and I keep the tails on it so it doesn't slide through. It's enough bulk to not let the concho come out the other side. I wore it all day at the Utah Renaissance Festival and not a single thing popped out. It is in there solid. Also, the elastic is tight enough on there to hold this. So I'm going to turn this around. So literally that is how I attached this. But now you see why you can't attach it after you're wearing it. And then you just do the same thing for each side. A few of these pieces have different types of attachment points. You can see, oh, here, attachment points here. But essentially the elastic holds them all the same. After I put it on, I did realize I failed to notice that I had them turned like weird, but just put them back on. Literally, that's what I do. So a couple things that I failed to notice, some tips of the trade, is when you put that second layer of elastic on the screw, make sure, make sure that you push that elastic as far back against that screw head as possible so that the threads of the screw are exposed, so that the concho screws on there good. Otherwise, you're going to have a hard time threading that concho on, firstly, and it won't be on as secure because those will be in the way. So that was the first thing. And the second thing, after I put this puppy on here, oops, that I failed to mention is, so we're going to do the same thing we did here just a little bit ago. We're going to thread that elastic through. Second piece of elastic through. Now I know why the Google reviews weren't sure about this phone holder. It bounces! Sorry for the bouncy. There, pulled that through. So then, obviously, after you pull that through, you're going to take your little screwdriver, your little flathead screwdriver, and screw that on super, super tight. And again, it really doesn't go anywhere, surprisingly. And then straighten that puppy out. And again, that's what you're left with. And then you just repeat it on the other side, and it works good. Third thing I failed to mention, anytime you cut this elastic or any of these nylon straps, make sure and just take a lighter, because you can see they're already fraying pretty bad, and just torch the ends. It just helps them so they don't fray. Much better. Thanks, guys, and any feedback is helpful, and I'm sure I misspoke terms, words throughout this, but thanks for bearing with me.